As NBA 2K24 fast approaches, more and more news is starting to be revealed about the upcoming game. And NBA 2K developer Beluba, or Mike Wang on Twitter, is continuing to drop little tidbits of news. And this news that has come out today is absolutely crazy, and it is absolutely game-changing. So we're going to break down all the latest news and much more coming up right now. You don't want to miss it. NBA 2K24 is looking like an absolute W so far, and it's going to be an absolutely crazy next couple of weeks for 2K fans, for NBA fans, and of course a lot of us coming off of the past few years of disappointing games. So let's just get right into it. And the first piece of news that dropped today is, of course, Monday. So we're in for another full week of news. And they're kind of, abandoning the schedule that they once were following, the roadmap they've been going with. But some NBA 2K24 badge info was dropped by Job Bridgeforth, who is the big guy. Shout out to him on Twitter, who kind of goes over much of the news. And he says, we haven't really announced much of it yet, but the badge game is very nuanced this year. Let's put it this way. The way you play on the court is going to reflect how your badges get shaped and how your player looks at the end of the day. So when you do something over and over again, let's say like you do a spin jumper, you're going to see your abilities as a spin jumper player steadily improve over time. And so you're going to find that not just the way you play the game, but what you do on the court is going to improve. You're kind of going to build your player in that aspect. So I'm excited about that. Now this dropped and, the 2K community on Twitter started going crazy. Now, is this brand new? Not really. This is something we had back in 2K17, similar things in 2K18 and 2K19, to where if you shoot difficult shots, if you shoot limitless threes, if you do things like that, then those would be the badges that you get. However, the big difference I think this year would be, in the past, you'd have those set amount of badges that you could work towards. For example, difficult shots, if you took faders, you'd be shown an XP amount to get that badge. I think this might be a little bit different, and maybe they don't show you. Maybe you can buy the badges with, VC to upgrade them, similar to 2K17, but it just seems like a completely reworked idea. Now, again, it's not a revolutionary idea. They're kind of doing the 2K thing where you take away a feature and then re-add it. However, at the end of the day, this is a brand new, badge system, and it is absolutely game-changing for NBA 2K24 because badges are more important, or at least as important as ratings are. So if they get the badge system right, then this is going to completely change the way that we play the game, completely change the way that we make builds. And if they're doing this with the badge system, I think the builder might be going crazy as well with some major changes. So very, very interesting. And again, who knows if you'll be able to maybe buy, some upgrades of badges with VC to where you earn, let's say, difficult shots badge, and then you buy it up with VC to Hall of Fame, similar to what you did in 2K17 in prior years. Or maybe it'll be, a non-VC purchasable thing, because they are going with the season pass this year, so you never really know what they're going to do with that. And another interesting thing to note here is that they didn't address Hall of Fame, silver, gold badges like that. So who knows? And that's kind of the thing that I'm not seeing many people discuss on the 2K Twitter and community, is that they didn't announce Hall of Fame gold, silver, bronze badges. So maybe they're out of the game, and maybe there's just one type of badge now, because Mike Wang did come out and say earlier this last week that badges are going to work a lot differently than they did before. So who knows? And it's going to be very, very interesting to see, because badges don't directly affect your green window anymore. Mike Wang came out and said that it more so affects your rating. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they address that going forward, and very, very interesting. Off of the badge topic very, very quickly, just a couple of more gameplay updates before we wrap up this video here. I'm going to be covering everything this week and everything upcoming leading to NBA 2K24's launch day, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But we have some gameplay updates as well as paint defense. We'll start with the gameplay updates. And Beluba goes on to say that gameplay upgrades are a big focus for 2K24, and they were asked, what are some of the changes to gameplay that you're most excited for in the future? Tons of highlights, but I think the main one is accessibility. He goes on to say that the community loved shooting last year. They loved the green, or, having to green to make, 95% of the shots. But they also wanted to make it more open to the casual community, because at the end of the day, if the casual community isn't happy, then patches are going to drop day one. We all know how this works in the 2K community, where the first day the game is phenomenal, and then they make a patch because all the casuals are complaining, and then it goes from there. So that's pretty exciting. You can pause and read this as well if you like. And then Very, very interesting. And finally, we'll touch on, of course, the NBA 2K24 paint defense, which is the last big key thing here because paint defense was a major issue in NBA 2K23 and really for the past few years. He said, were there any community requested changes that the team wanted to make sure were implemented in the game this year? And one of the big things the community at large really wanted to see was improved paint defense. Absolutely true. And that's one thing I think we really step into this year thinking, how can we improve it on different levels and different systems in our game? Body up, basically our on-ball defense. In the collisions that happen when you body up the ball handler, that system got blown out, especially under the basket and under the rim. Then goes on to say that scoring the paint feels correct. So on scoring the perimeter feels correct. Now, he's said this before. He said this last year, and they haven't made the changes. So I'm not going to be too optimistic. However, it does seem like, we have a couple of guys like Wolf, who used to play in the 2K League as a professional 2K player, who now works as a game developer. Those are things that are very, very important. And hopefully, going forward into 2K24, these adjustments were actually made properly. But that'll wrap up the video. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button. This is a brand new channel. I'm going to be covering all the latest NBA 2K24 news. And when the game drops, lots of gameplay, lots of the best builds, VC methods, everything like that you want to see. But for now, we're going to be covering all the 2K news. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comment section what you want to see going forward. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.